Conor Treacy at
Check that out.
Big Red SEO. How are you doing today? Conor, do your little intro.
Hi.
Why I awkwardly do my phone. He's trying to teach me how to do Facebook Live on a video. Yeah, so hi everybody as we figure this out.
Yeah, so the intro from me is, hi, Facebook, I'm here. It's Friday. It's semi-warm outside. It's not golfing weather. But anyway, so
it is cloudy as fuck here in Nebraska. It is not warm outside. We had to wear sweaters today.
Yeah,
are you wishing it was warm like it has been all week? And then
well, it's Facebook. Everything on the internet is fake anyway. So fuck it. Here you go.
And everybody in Promoval House could be like, he's lying. Does he have the same weather we have? Hey Adam, how are you?
Hey Adam.
So hey, today we actually want to do a weekly recap. As mentioned in our last video, every Friday we're coming in for a little bit of time with you guys, kind of share the journey of us. My name's Kimberly Treacy.
Conor.
Conor, he usually goes by Master Conor Treacy, just to let you know if you want to get bonus points. But we run Big Red SEO, so we specialize in internet marketing, mainly through the SEO side, so organic SEO as well as local SEO. We offer pay-per-click management as well as website design services. But the cool part and the reason why we're stepping forward is we are a husband and wife team, and we've been running this gig for over 7 years, and we've had a lot of roller coaster moments, you know, those ones that you throw your hands up and you're super excited. And then you kind of like get a little bit stressed out. But the cool thing about all of it is we've been able to scale our business successfully based on what makes us happy throughout that process. So our goal is to come in once a week, kind of share our journey, share a little bit of updates of what we're finding, what we're seeing, share some of the stuff that pisses us off, which is always fun to discuss, especially for Conor. He likes to debate and discuss.
It just as a heads up, you're now 2 minutes in.
I know.
You've got 8 minutes left.
Shh.
Go.
He tries to tell me get in and get out really quick, and I'm like, we don't need to know that. We don't need to know that. So Conor, what's been going on this week?
Work. Been busy at work. Big things, lots of big changes, of course, with Google and all that, but we'll not get too technical on that. But the big item that I do want to bring up is just security in general. If you haven't changed a password recently, go ahead and change your password. You know, I have for some websites that haven't been changed in probably 10 years, and I know they haven't. I know they're at risk, but they're stupid passwords, and I don't care. Stupid websites, for that matter. But I did work with the client earlier this week. We were moving email accounts from one server to another. They had about 30 emails, I think, that were moving, and 28 of those emails all had the same password for each of the individual people. So what ended up happening was one person got hacked, or their password got leaked, whatever you want to call it.
Compromised is the PA word we like to use.
Yeah, they compromised. They ended up, of course, getting onto a handful of other email accounts and then using the server to spam from there. But the spamming at least was caught, and it locked down the server before there was any big issue. But keeping those passwords update, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. And what happens a lot of times is people will actually use the password called password, or they'll use a password for their email as well as their banking account, just all across the board. Just try to make them as different as possible. There's multiple different things that you can actually like track and put all the passwords into. What's the site that you like? It's like a kid-friendly site.
Sure. Yeah, there's a password site called DinoPass, DinoPass.com. And it randomly generates passwords. So one of the neat things in passwords, or one of the complexities that everybody faces with, is that you've got to create something that's memorable. Yeah. So one of the things over the years has always been you take 2 words and 2 numbers, and that becomes your password, and it's easy to remember. So DinoPass took that basically concept, and you go on there and your password might be Tiny Feet 43 or Fluffy Panda, or you know. I have clients, you know, from 6 and 7 years ago. You know, it's Giant Walrus is the password. And anytime
I don't know how to spell walrus. I don't know if you guys do, but I would forget that. It's actually a really, really cool website that we usually provide our clients. It's free. You can use it. And it's because you're hitting the table.
Sorry.
It's really, really cool because like you can come up with some funny stuff. One time we actually had a client, its password was X-rated. Do you remember this one? So it was also a husband and wife team, and the password was X-rated. So whenever we asked them to tell us our password, we laughed so hard because that's how they remembered it internally. So not giving any information away, but you could do that too. So like if you're to keep it in your memory, it's X-rated focus. That's even a better thing. So yeah, so dinopass.com is it, and it's a lot of fun. So it has dinosaurs on it. You can do strong, easy passwords. But yeah, so hey, Carolina, thanks for joining us. Maureen, how are you? Good.
Kim
So
likes to get really close.
I know, really close. I'm trying to connect with you guys. Can I hug you through the screen? It's not awkward at all. Not awkward at all. One thing that came up for me this week that I actually noticed, we are very, very busy in projects, but we are getting a lot of prospects and clients onboarding that have had really, really bad experiences with previous designers or what they classify as agencies. We're not agencies. We're a husband and wife team. We keep everything in-house. We are able to streamline our processes, and that's how we're able to do it, which Conor will talk about here in a second. And by the way, we're already at 555.
Yes.
But one of the things that's really, really important in business across the board, and if you're getting ready to launch or you're currently in business, keep your communication clear, right? So like whatever you're delivering, try to provide as much detail so somebody that's purchasing from you does not get confused. But then also it keeps you accountable. But then say the client comes back and they thought that they were going to get C all the way through to Z in the alphabet, but you only sold them A. It kind of saves your ass at the same time. So from your end, as in the person doing the work, it's like everybody across the board knows exactly the services that they're getting, but then also the person that's purchasing, there's no confusion. We had that happen a couple of times with some prospects, and at one point I had to just like kind of cut cords with the situation and just be like, hey, just because you got a website design doesn't mean that that website design included SEO services with this other provider. So it's not necessarily getting into a conflict about the competition, but also like just saying, hey, like you're purchasing one, but you may not get number 2, 3, or 4, right? So clear communication all the way across the board. We have templates inside of our email. We try to keep everything personalized as possible, but we have templates that we start with to make sure we cover all of our bases. What are you laughing at?
Well, I'm looking at Carolina's comment. I'm like, thank you.
Your skin looks amazing. She probably is talking about you.
Probably.
You know, like vote. Which one? Vote me or vote him? Now that you see him getting all red, he's matching the wall. He does not like attention at all.
No, not at all.
I don't think Carolina has met you officially.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, hello
yeah.
there.
Yeah, she's officially meeting you, which is the other half of me.
Yeah.
Makes sense, right? Okay, what else happened for you today?
So you were talking about communication, and you were talking about pricing and not knowing what you're going to get. One of the things, actually, I just talked to a gentleman yesterday, and they were at a conference in Nashville, I think it was.
Yeah.
But basically, they had all their clients come in. There's like 400 and something clients coming in, and their bill for all the entertainment, $500,000, something like that. By the time they paid for flights and hotels and meals and you name it, so they spent a ton of money entertaining their customers. And then we were talking about, we had a bill here at the office.
Snow removal.
Snow removal, CAM charges. So CAM is community area management. So it was snow removal charges, and they split it up between all the tenants in the building. And we saw the number, and we thought it was kind of high. So we just checked with the guys next door, and we're like, hey, you think these numbers are high? And he says, oh, I don't know. It's already been paid. So the way they operated at their business was that the invoices go to corporate, which is in a different state, and they just pay the bill. Now, years ago when I ran a web hosting company and I had a business partner, and we operated the same way. We would touch base every 2 months or so.
Yeah.
Hey, what did you spend this $4,000 on? And here I am saying, I didn't do that. He goes, well, I paid the bill. So we had that just even 2 weeks ago with LegalZoom. LegalZoom changed their rates.
We'll have to blur that name out.
Blur that name out. Like they're a great company. I got nothing bad about them, except that our bill used to be $150, and then they send an email and they say, oh, this year it's going to be $400 and something.
Yeah,
and
that email made me mad.
Yeah, if you hadn't been paying attention, you would have just paid the bill because that's your annual fee and no big deal.
Well, we didn't pay attention last year, so it was 159 or whatever, and they increased it 100%.
Yep.
And then we didn't pay attention. I just paid it, and then they increased it another 150% this year, and then I finally caught it. But the whole recap with all of it is, when you're in business, make sure you know what you're paying for, what you're spending. some of our clients forget about like annual softwares. They
Mhm.
forget about those. And all of a sudden it's a big expense or small expense that hits. But all of these small expenses actually start to add up. So one of your processes that you're really good at is, if not weekly, bi-weekly, you audit the softwares you're using and the tools that you're using, and you track everything.
Just canceled one today.
Yeah, yeah. So what it does is, if something's not being utilized, or if it just sits at the bay in the wayside, we just cancel it and get rid of it. Hey, Gary, thanks for coming. And then so like we just get rid of it. But a lot of businesses get themselves in trouble because they don't actually track their expenses, or they don't track what the cost is for their business to run. So like even like our softwares and all of our tools and all of our project management CRM, like those are built into the service. There's fees of those built into all the services that we offer. So we don't have to eat all of the costs to run our entire company. And I don't think all companies do that. I think sometimes they forget. They want to get paid, and they're like, hey, I'm not making enough money to break even, and it's because they don't build that stuff in.
Well, we're all familiar with AOL. Used to be a company.
Oh, don't say his name. Like, blank out his name.
I won't say his name, but
it's going to come hunting you down.
I'm sure he will watch this in a few minutes and then, kick my ass. But basically, AOL, we all used that years ago. I actually never used it. I was an Earthlink person. Go figure.
Earthlink.
So
it makes so much sense.
It does. But basically, for the last 16 years, he's been paying $39 a month.
Yeah.
Because it was easier just to pay the bill than it was to contact them and try to cancel it. Now, he hasn't used the service in several years, but it wasn't until this month that he finally, I got a text and said, hey, I finally canceled it. I'm like, dude.
They
seriously?
actually celebrated via text message because this was a big deal.
Well, about 5 years ago, I was on his ass and saying, dude, just give me your password. I'll cancel it out. You'll save your $50 or $40, whatever it was. So paying attention to what it is that you're actually spending money on makes, financially, of course, that just makes sense anyway. But in business, there's so many small little things. We have optimization software, and it's $2 a month that comes out. And
printer paper, printer ink, coffee for our clients. Direct deposit. Oh my gosh, I still haven't canceled that. So when we had employees, like I had direct deposit for Wells Fargo, and I've been paying that since I let go of my employees every month. And I still have to go. It's like $10, but $10 adds up. Like, right?
Yeah, we haven't had employees in 3 years.
Anyway, I'm totally getting busted on right now.
Let's add that up. $360, maybe.
I know. I'll do it.
Box of cigars for me.
It is.
Anyway, so there you go. Pay attention to that kind of crap. Make sure that you're auditing yourself and auditing your business and auditing.
Yeah, and the other thing too is it's not just softwares, it's not just supplies, but like maybe you want to invest in yourself for a training, right? So like that's another thing that I think people like sometimes forget about. They're like, how can I afford this A, B, and C? Well, you have to figure out what steps do you need to take, and how can you add that resource to your tool belt to make yourself different to be able to excel and help other clients. So it's something else that they totally forget about. So if you're wanting a certification or extra training, or you're wanting to go polish up your skills on Office 365, then you can like find a way to deduct that from your current project load and situations. So yeah. Cool.
Just so you know, we're now at
I know. I'm so excited. We have several people in here. I'm super duper excited.
No. I wasn't concerned about the people. I mean, thank you for showing.
Hey, did you see Carolina was saying that I was radiant at first, but she's like, now you are radiant too.
Well, yes, of course I am.
So cute. Okay, so what else did you have happen this week?
Well, you're coming up on time here, so I want to just be cautious because I know people have cat videos to watch. So
look, Carolina's like, this is so fun. Keep talking. Go. So what else happened today? What pissed you off? I know what got you really excited, which we'll talk about in a second, but anything pissed you off this week? Because people love your rants.
Was it fuck the fuckers?
I don't know.
Last night's deal? No, I don't know. What else got me going?
I don't know. Did anything? Anything at all? No, I guess not. So
let me see what I wrote down over here.
He has notes.
I have notes.
We've been working on him taking notes.
Yeah.
Oh, look, she's like football, laughing. Maybe that pissed you off, football.
Yeah, it probably did at some point along the way.
But they don't call football what we call football here in Ireland.
No, not quite. Although the football over there, I guess you guys are going through all sorts of crap.
That might be a different video.
It is. I had one other thing. It had to do with time management. Speaking of time, we're almost at 15 minutes. Kim.
It's cool. People love it.
Okay.
You go, if people have a demand and they're having fun, that's one thing I will talk about just in general in business. Make sure that you're not trying to appease or appeal to any and all people. Figure out who your ideal target audience is. That's one thing that we've been able to excel with at 7 years. And every single day we hone in on it better and better and better. And one thing I would say over this last year is the prospects that we sit across from, they really jive with our energy and our passion. And if they don't jive, like say that they cancel a prospect meeting.
Your 70s jive.
Yeah. Say if they don't actually like, what do you click? I don't know. Like if it's not jive.
Click.
So anyway, if for whatever reason we're not meant to do business with them, believe it or not, they'll send an email and call, or they'll do a no call, no show. And we actually internally do a little happy dance, and we go outside for a break or a walk when people cancel appointments, because like we time block our time so streamlined that it's actually our fun free. Like so in school, you know how you got recess? Like that's our version of recess. We know the universe is going to take care of us, and whoever we're meant to do business with, we will, and we show up every day and we do everything that we can to excel. And so we kind of like surrender, so we don't get mad when people don't show. Instead, we kind of get a little excited.
Well, I think the other part on that is that your scheduling, your task list and your project management and so forth, even your calendar at home, it's a guideline of things to do.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily that, this has to get done this day and this has to be done at this particular time. And I have a handful of clients that I've called up, and actually I'm guilty of it today. So I will apologize and say I am guilty. But
maybe this is a confession.
I know, maybe it is. I'll call up various different people and say, hey, I'm going over here. Do you want to go? And oh no, I'm too busy with work. I'm slammed. I've got to take care of this. And that does happen. And I understand that happens. Today I wanted to go play golf in the afternoon, and I called up or texted over to a buddy of mine and said, hey, I'm looking at doing this. And he texted back and said, well, we're leaving in a half hour. Do you want to go? I'm like, no, I'm standing in the middle of crap right now.
So he did the exact thing he's telling people not to.
I did the exact same thing, but really where I was going with it before rudely interrupted.
I know, with a snort laugh.
And called out on my own shit.
We do this all the time, by the way.
But basically, you should always have that availability of time to be able to go do whatever it is that you want to do. If you want to do it, you're going to make time for it. If you don't want to do it, you're always going to be too busy. And that's fine. That's a default answer, and that's okay. But I see a lot of people using time management or their project planners and stuff like that, and they're just so locked in with time that they've got no time to do anything, even just take care of themselves or go outside for the 10 minutes and go walk around the block.
I used to be there. I used to, like, whenever I first started this business, I used to work, and Conor would keep saying, go take a break, go take a break. And I would like grind and grind and grind. And then I would wonder, why am I frustrated? Why am I tired? Why am I always hungry? Why am I always grouchy? I was so grouchy then. Sometimes I still am. Not all the time. But believe it or not, stepping away, especially if you feel like you need to step away, but you're like, oh, I'm going to step away anyway, and then come back, you'll come forward with a clear mind. Definitely. That's the biggest lesson I learned. So if you guys have any questions regarding business, we will be back next Friday to kind of share our journey and share our situation.
Thank you.
Overall, this week we've had amazing prospects, projects, clients on board. It's been super duper fun. We're expanding different areas and different situations, which is super cool. And anytime we can get brand new businesses launching in our community or throughout our community, it's always fun to be part of that journey too. So that's a blast. So if you know anybody, send them our way. It's the fastest and the quickest way for you to earn work done by us, which is cool. We have a referral that if you send us somebody and they onboard, then we do work for you for
stuff
for, I don't want to use the word, but
don't use the word.
We don't charge you for a certain percentage of the work. We're not going to say the word that starts with an F and ends in E.
I was going to say, we tend to stay away from the four-letter word. That four-letter word.
The other one's our favorite. The one with the F and ends in the K, that's our favorite regularly.
And the one with the C and ends in the T.
Yeah, that one too.
Okay.
All righty. We will talk to you guys next week, next Friday. Have a great Mother's Day. Great weekend.
Yeah. I got to call my mom.
You guys can hold him accountable if he called his mom.
Yeah.
All righty. We'll talk. It's funny. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a great weekend. See ya.
Bye. So you got to